Welcome back to Arise Global Business Report. C&I Leasing Plc has obtained approval of the Securities Exchange Commission to open subscription of a rights issue. A rights issue is of 5 million Naira ordinary shares at 6 Naira per share. Based on the approval obtained from Securities and Exchange Commission, the offer opened in November and is expected to close on Friday 27th this month. And Chief Financial Officer, C&I Leasing, Alex Mbakogu, joins me in the studio for more on this. Alex, good to have you with us. Good morning.
Thanks, Nick. Good morning.
All right. So, for the benefit of the viewers, tell us more about the rights issue program you just had opened.
Yeah, the right issue program that C&I has opened is 4 new shares for every 3 that existing shareholders are holding.
Okay.
So, if you are an existing shareholder or an intending holder, you are qualified to buy into the right issue. Because the right issue is tradable. So the right we are offering is tradable on the floor of the stock exchange. So for the existing shareholders and for those who intend to be shareholders, they are qualified. Because it is tradable, and a non-existing shareholder that wants to be a shareholder, all you need to do is to meet your stockbroker, meet the joint issuing houses or the lead issuing houses. They will advise you and guide you properly on how to get on board of the right issue.
All right, very good. So why is the company looking to do a rights issue and not a public offering or bond issuance at this rate?
Yeah, the company has a capital plan.
Okay.
It's a combination of debt and equity. In the debt plan, we've started. In the equity plan, we are starting. So we have rights and public.
Okay.
So it's a medium to long-term plan.
Okay.
So we are starting with right issue. We'll get to public based on the plan that the company will have ourselves. So we get to right issue.
So what are the major benefits of this right issues on the short term, as it were?
The benefit of the right is that is for the existing shareholders.
Okay.
So it eliminates dilution in the instance we are.
Okay.
And it's the process is less rigorous than public.
Okay.
But more importantly is that you want to give your existing shareholders who have been with you all this while some measure of liberty or measure of some comfort to get on board as existing shareholders. So it's like a privilege.
All right. So it's not open to the public, as you just said.
Yeah, it's open to the public because if an existing shareholder, when you have 2 options.
Okay.
The option is to take your right in full.
Okay.
Or ask for more.
All right.
The next option is to take in part or partial acceptance. In which case, if you're meant to take 10, you're taking 5. So there's 5 that is there. That is what a non-current holder can buy. An existing shareholder can also decide to renounce the right. So those ones that are partially taken, those ones that are renounced, are what entirely new holder can come on board to buy on the floor of Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Okay.
So it is targeted at existing. But peradventure, you don't have the capacity to take all. You are taking part.
Okay.
Then someone will be on standby.
All right.
Either existing or non-existing.
Okay.
To take the remaining.
Very good. And what has been the response of existing shareholders to this new concept you've just introduced ever since you announced it?
Yeah, we opened on the 18th.
All right.
So the response has been impressive. I'm an existing shareholder.
Oh.
I have taken my I've taken my own.
Okay.
My team also, the existing shareholder they've taken. And of course, all the existing shareholders, there have been some favorable response. It's a company that you want to keep holding, you want to increase your holding, you want to associate with. So the response has been quite impressive.
All right. Speaking about associations here, so what returns have the company historically given to investors, and what type of returns can investors also expect over the coming years?
Yeah, let me start from the past 22 years. For the past 22 years, the company has paid dividend for the past 22 years. Only in 2016 and 2017, the company not pay dividend. And the reason that there was a major restructuring that took place, and the board and shareholders felt that it is better to put back the money to be able to grow the business because of the restructuring. But apart from 2016 and 2017, C&I Leasing has consistently paid dividend for 20 out of the past 22 years. I think it's a history that, if you have come on board when we opened and he's consistently gotten dividend for 20 years out of 22, I think it's a good history. I think it's commendable. And I think that is something that somebody you'll be very, very encouraged to invest and associate with.
Indeed. Earlier on, you mentioned the restructuring concept here. Let's look at the nature of this restructuring. What prompted this earlier on?
Okay. C&I used to have a subsidiary called C&I Motors.
Okay.
We were dealing on all brands of Suzuki.
That was the one I was going to ask you about that, because that was what I know of C&I for until this moment that we have now. Okay.
Yeah. So we've run that subsidiary for like 9-10 years.
Okay.
But you see, in business, you keep looking at your portfolio.
Is that segment still in existence?
So in 2016, the company took a step, and the board, to shut down that unit of our subsidiary of our business.
Completely.
So exactly, that was part of the restructuring, because the marine was coming on board, was growing, and we felt that it makes more sense for us to put more of our efforts in marine.
Okay, and that's still in existence today?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And discontinue with the C&I Motors.
All right.
So that's part of the restructuring. And then our finance lease business also did some restructuring and streamlined that business. So what we did was to focus on 3 lines of businesses.
Okay.
Marine, fleet, and manpower sourcing.
Okay.
So these are the 3 businesses that, after the restructuring, the company decided to concentrate on this. So that was why what necessitated that restructuring. And then the company, the board, and the shareholders felt that, well, we've done this. We need to inject more funding in the business. So let's return the profit of 2016 and 2017 to grow the business. So for 22 years, these are only 2 years why the company did not pay a dividend. And that is the reason, because we needed to grow the business.
Okay. Fair enough. So what are the company's media-term plan, and how does the current capital base fit in?
Well, C&I, the last time we went to the market was in 2006, thereabouts.
All right.
And the company has grown. By 2016, our balance sheet was less than 27 billion. Today it's close to 60 billion.
That is a lot.
So you see, there's a balance of debt and equity that will maximize your profitability and will put your business on the right pedestal for growth. So the attraction is that for the business to grow, you need to balance your debt and your equity. So it's a right mix. So we've done debt. We are moving on equity. So this will give the company the leverage to be able to grow. In the medium term, the company intends to continue on its existing lines of business, but need to grow more on the marine.
All right.
So you need more money from the existing shareholders for you to leverage on that to get more debt.
But I'm sorry to cut you, but the marine segment of your company, is it also listed on the exchange, or it's
no, it's a unit. It's a unit. It's a unit.
So, and what is, you said the segment also needs more money. So how do you intend to raise that?
Yeah, part of the money is this right issue. Equity. Right issue is equity.
All right, good.
So it's coming from us. So you must have your own money for you to go and borrow. You want 10 billion. Somebody says, I will give you, bring in your 10% of the 10 billion you want. If you want 20 billion, somebody says, bring in 10% of the money you want to borrow. So what equity does is that it enhances your capacity to do either more borrowing, also to reinforce, it's like a foundation for a company. So somebody is saying, yes, you want money, you want to grow. What is your worth as a company? What do you have as a company. So equities, this is the strength of the company.
Good.
It is also both for regulatory, it's also both for enhancement, it's also both for comfort. I mean, people will want to see the comfort that the owners of the business have in the business for you to ask for some other outsiders, either in terms of loan or in terms of other credits for them to come. So they also want to know how strong you are, and that strength comes from your equity.
All right, very good, Alex. Now, in 1 minute, I would like your thoughts on your company's foray into the capital market. What has been the symbiosis, the relationship between the market, as it were?
You know, the capital market, if I understand you, I mean, we are quoted on the floor of the stock exchange. So
Yeah.
it gives you visibility, one.
All right.
It gives investors confidence because as a listed company, you're open.
Okay.
There's a minimum level of disclosures that you're allowed. So your books are open.
All right.
So an investor who is not resident in Nigeria will place some reliability and confidence on the fact that there are checks,
And
stock
balance.
exchange.
Yeah.
So when you have investors, you have less talk on less explanation because they can rely on your information which are already in the public or their public domain. So it gives you leverage, it gives you publicity, it gives places confidence on people who are both local and international who want to do business with you. We have one of our subsidiaries in UAE, okay? We've done some deals using that subsidiary.
Okay.
We've had to borrow from offshore a couple of times. So the status of C&I as a PLC do lend support and credence to those processes. So that's one of some of the advantages of being listed on the stock exchange.
Very good. And on that note, Alex Mbakogu, CFO of C&I Leasing, it's good to have you with us on the program.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.